Alright everyone, let's waste absolutely no time, no interview time, let's roll that goddamn intro!
More struggling to mob.
Yo, what's going on everyone? This is Stardust here. Welcome back to another exciting video. Be sure to subscribe. Let's get to 1k subs. That would make my nipples very erect. Anyways, we are here with another article, this time on Inverse, alright? And we're going straight into it, talking about Peter's combat. It is Brian Interhart and Ryan Smith. In combat, how Peter's able to leverage those symbiote abilities is really about the transformation. He isn't just leading with a fist, he's got tentacles. Oh, and you can stick enemies to the wall, you can grab a group of enemies and launch them. Game director Ryan Smith says of Peter's spiffy new tendrils, it's an opportunity for putting power out into the gameplay space a little bit differently than we would have done before by interacting with more enemies. Very nice stuff. Of course, we've got a glimpse of that in the gameplay trailer back at the PlayStation Showcase. Then we have this little doozy. Before the 2020 side sequel, Miles Morales launched alongside the PlayStation 5, bringing the symbiote into the fold allows Insomniac to riff on its hugely successful web-slinging formula, which is interesting because we haven't really seen the symbiote change the web swinging that much yet. There's a reason the previous games open up with swinging right away, creative director Brian Interhart says. That's the ultimate fantasy. One of the things we set out to do from day one was honour the fact that being Spider-Man is such a fantastic fantasy for so many people. They say anybody can wear the mask, but we want anybody to wear the mask and be good at wearing the mask at the same time. The barrier of entry should be pretty low, and maybe that's a little reference to a lot of people saying the web swinging Spider-Man 1 and Miles Morales is actually pretty basic. Maybe that's a little sort of nod to those people and those criticisms. Next, we have this little tidbit underneath one of the pictures. The symbiote gives Peter a whole lot of new moves, but at a troubling cost. Now, I'm assuming that's story cost, but it would be pretty interesting if that was a gameplay perspective as well. Maybe he takes more damage or something weird like that, you know what I'm saying? The ultimate fantasy wouldn't be complete without a heaping helping of spiffy new Spidey gadgets. The goal here is for players to tinker around with all the new gear and craft their own unique version of the Marvel hero. This is starting to sound like a looter, but it's not, don't panic. If we go back to the gameplay reveal that we did, the Miles section, when he's sneaking around the fish market, he creates a web line. Then he throws a new gadget out called the Web Grabber. It brings all the enemies together, smashes them together, and that sets him up to do a big lightning ground pound move that he does. That's that sandbox nature of taking all these toys and letting people try them out, Interhart says. We just want players to improvise with the experience, whether it's Ratchet and Clank, whether it's Resistance, and now Spider-Man, which is very true. Insomniac are masters at being able to let people do that type of stuff. For Smith, making Insomniac Games more accessible meant embracing an iterative? Oh, mate, I can't read for anything. I need accessibility options for my stupid brain. Approach to features that can be gradually improved from one project to the next instead of striving to get everything right the first time. One of the most powerful lessons for me, at least on the first Spider-Man, was that we didn't have to have the perfect version of accessibility features. I don't know if I agree with that necessarily, but they're the developers, not me. They just have to have the door open a bit more. As developers, we want it to be perfect, but you can't let that stop you from doing something that will get more people playing, Smith says. Fair enough, I understand it. And then Brian Interhart says, one of our pillars for Spider-Man 2 was making sure there's a great narrative and payoff in anything we did. The more we can include a narrative that people can connect to, it takes away from the game feeling like a checklist, which I can definitely understand people having that criticism. Now they talk about their Marvel relationship, saying they're not just Marvel, they're friends. And that has really helped through the tougher times of trying to figure out a story moment or what we want to do with a final character. A certain character, not final, I'm an idiot. He says, in the final stretch of Spider-Man 1, we were trying to figure out how to make the fight at the end even better. And someone had the idea of Peter creating a suit based on Otto's stuff. A lot of that came from our collaboration with Marvel, which is absolutely awesome. Then we have this little bit here about Marvel's Wolverine, and, you know, even though they're keeping tight-lipped, there is still a kind of idea of what they might want that game to actually look like, right? So Ryan Smith is looking ahead to single-player experiences that feel more connected and collaborated. I would love for us to find a way to get that sense of connection to the community, whether it's sharing photos or just little ways to leave bonuses for friends, which is absolutely adorable. And then Brian Interhart, this one is really interesting, because we know that addiction is going to be a part of Marvel Spider-Man 2. I'm wondering how games are going to touch on topics that we shield away from over the years, because the topic was quite quote unquote controversial or something we don't talk about, Intihar says. We're seeing more and more games tackle topics and themes that we wouldn't have done 10 years ago, and I hope that only increases. Right, so there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, that is cool stuff from that article. It will be in the description down below. Be sure to subscribe. I love you all.